Talk about just the kind of the escape. Those never get old, do they?
No, absolutely. Yeah, I just hung in there. He played extremely well the first set. He hit the ball extremely clean. He returned really well. Just tried to hang in there, hold my serve, and then get off to a good start in the second set. And I was able to do that, but then he found his rhythm again and made it hard for me. And then, just kept fighting it out. Obviously, after you have match points, it's never easy to play a tie-break then and lose it. So I just tried to stay on top of him. But to his credit, still could have gone either way in the third set. But I was able to break it 5-4, which was nice.
Did you sense at some point, maybe in the third set, that you either had the momentum or?
Oh, I served a lot better in the third set, which made life a lot easier because his return of serve was as good as anyone's out there today. He hit the ball extremely clean off. I really had to hit my spots and hit them well on my first serve to get any kind of cheap point. So that was awkward for me.
As far as your playing history here, you kind of made this a regular stop in the last few years.
Yeah.
Is it still something that just an event that seems right? You like the atmosphere, like the conditions?
Yeah, obviously. This is only a third time. I was meant to play it last year, but I had that foot surgery, so I missed San Jose and Memphis last year, as well as most of the first half of the year. So, no, it's good to be back. Obviously, I enjoy playing in the States, so I feel comfortable in the States. So, for me, it's nice to come to these tournaments. It's disappointing that you seem to be losing so many of them as well. So, it's nice that this tournament is still here.
What do you think is the reason behind the loss of the terms?
I don't really know. I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
In terms of the States, the first thing I'd probably say is that the Americans are so used to having Sampras, Agassi, Courier, Chang, McEnroe, Connors, and then Roddick was that next one. And I guess there hasn't been. At the moment, the game's dominated by Europeans. So that makes it harder, I guess, to hold tournaments and keep interest when there's so many other big sporting names in this country.
And I noticed there in the first set and a little bit in the third too, you were kind of glancing over at your knee a little bit and some on the backhand side, your movement to the backhand side. Just talk a little bit about that.
No, my knee is fine. Just must have been scratching my knee.
Gotcha.
Good.
Okay.
You made the finals last year in Newport, and then you had a quarterfinal in Stockholm later in the year. As far as what you're hoping for out of your game at this stage, what is it? What do you hope to be again? Looking for another victory, Grand Slam?
I want to perform well in the slams. That's the key. Obviously, the slams mean the most to me, and the Aussie, Wimbledon, probably US, probably more so, on hard court and grass, and Davis Cup. That's why I'm still playing the game. That's the priority. In terms of the tournaments and my ranking, obviously it'd be nice to get my ranking up a bit higher where you get seeded at the slams where you don't have to play the top 8 seeds in the first round or so, because that's what it seems like it's been happening in the last couple of years, which that's the toughest part. But in terms of in Australia, I hit the ball really well. The whole month in Australia, I trained and did all the right things. I don't have any points to defend into a Newport, so at the moment, I was out for 5 months last year, so everything's positive at the moment. I'm just playing. I'm not focused on a ranking. It doesn't really bother me too much. As long as I can play the events that I want to play to put myself in the best position for the Grand Slams, and that's the priority.
So in terms of your ranking, do you think now that you were kind of receiving wild cards for some of these events because of the lower ranking, you were injured and everything, do you think it's more or less pressure to play with this kind of ranking or being like a top 10 player like you were?
Well, it doesn't matter for me, in terms of I put the own pressure on myself when I'm out there, but in terms of it's just easier when you're seeded and higher and perhaps getting a bye in some of the smaller tournaments, obviously, you've got to win 4 matches instead of 5 to win it. Obviously draws, not having to play the higher ranked players in the first couple of matches. So, little stuff like that, but, you've got to take it, whatever happens.
Are you encouraged or impressed by the play of like a Tommy Haas? Seeing him at 34, making it to the finals in this game in the top 20?
He's been able to turn it around. From a couple of years ago, he came back from one of his surgeries and he was really struggling. And it was a hell of an effort to get back to where he's got now. And the last probably 8 months or so, he's playing some of the best tennis again. He looks in really good shape, moving well, and good on him. He's had a rough time with a lot of tough injuries over the years.
Does that inspire you, or do you? I mean,
I don't know if it inspires me, but yeah, we've obviously both gone through some tough times,
right.
body-wise, and we still want to be out there competing.
I know you recently played another Davis Cup tie for Australia over in Chinese Taipei. You've obviously always been a stalwart of the Australian Davis Cup team. Maybe just talk a little bit about why you like Davis Cup and playing for your country and everything.
Well, first of all, playing for Australia, it's a great honour because the history we have in tennis and Davis Cup, and so something that I don't take lightly, that's for sure. So it's one of the greatest honours I can have, and I always want to put my hand up and play for my country. Playing in a team environment as well, you don't get to do that as a tennis player too often, so that's something that I really enjoy.
With your love for Davis Cup in the country, do you see yourself staying involved in tennis?
I'd say when I do end up stopping, I'll be something, I don't know what, wait and see, but Davis Cup's obviously probably the biggest priority for me. Draft is obviously the captain at the moment, and we'll see what happens after I start.
All right, that's good.